I just received an award for generating over $25 million selling AI services to local business owners with my AI agency, Gym Members Now. And the award is right behind me. I'm going to unveil it here in a second. But I wanted to make this video because I'm going to show you and walk you through my journey that I was ultimately close to quitting and giving up on when I first got started. And I'm making this video so that you can learn from my mistakes and ultimately avoid the mistakes that I made in the beginning, which are all of the most common mistakes that people make when it really comes to starting a business like this, when you're trying to sell AI to local business owners and sell agency services. But before we jump in, let me show you the proof that I've actually made 25 million and unveil the award. This is an award from ClickFunnels. And that one right there is another award for doing 10 million. This award is for 25 million. You have to submit proof of it. I had to make like a 12-minute long video showing all the transactions for the last 7 years to get approved for it, and they had to validate it. And that's what happened. So what we have right here is the box. I was pumped about this award coming, so my girlfriend put like this on here because she knew how excited I was. And here we go. Pretty sweet, right? I mean, that's pretty cool. The really cool thing, or the really interesting thing about entrepreneurship is at the end of the day, it is a sport. It is. It's the most competitive sport around, but there really aren't awards for it. And so something that ClickFunnels did that was really cool is they made awards. And I've always wanted to get this award. It's an award that a lot of really cool entrepreneurs have, like Alex Ramosi and a lot of others. But yeah, that's it. So from here, we can kind of jump into it. So the first thing that we kind of need to look at here in my story is the beginning. So the beginning of my story was I bought a $1,000 course in 2018. Ultimately, it didn't teach me anything. I bought a course from a guy that claimed to build a successful agency, and when in reality, he built it through his personal brand. And ultimately, he made all his money from selling courses. He really didn't make his money from building an actual agency. And so the course itself didn't teach me how to run ads for local business owners, which was the service I was going to be providing at the time, which ultimately developed into me nurturing their leads that I generated from ads and then doing reactivation campaigns with them right out the gate, which I've been doing for the last 7 years. And I do a whole lot of other AI services as well. But I had dropped out of college and I was in my mom's basement. And since the course didn't teach me how to do the service that I was going to be providing, it literally left me to spend 6 months trying to figure out how to do it, watching YouTube videos. And so after 6 months, I bought this course in October. Come spring break, it just got to the point where I realized if I don't start making money, I'm not gonna, like, this is just too much. I'm a loser at this point. Nobody wants to be around me because I'm not making anything of myself. I've dropped out of college. I kind of look like a black sheep, right? And I really needed to kind of figure it out. And I realized I needed to start reaching out to businesses because if I didn't, nothing was going to end up happening. And so spring break of 2019, that's exactly what we did. Michael was cold messaging people on my Facebook profile and on his Facebook profile. We were able to get like 15 appointments that week, and I was able to sign up 3 people. I didn't do a single free trial for any of these people. One thing I want to say is one of the customers actually asked me, have you ever done this before? And I just said no. No, I haven't, but I've spent the last 6 months studying this and obsessing over it, and I can guarantee you this. There's not going to be anyone that's going to work harder than me and make sure that you get great results. And that was enough to be able to close him. In addition to that, another customer I signed up actually ended up being a customer for 18 months and paying me $18,000 because this was right before COVID, and he was even a customer after COVID and before COVID. And this is actually his testimonial right here, which is pretty cool. You can see here back in May of 2019. So literally almost 7 years ago. And then this is Patrick. This is literally the guy that asked me, have you ever worked with anybody? This guy didn't ask me if I worked with anybody, but this guy did. But the main thing here is that you really just want to stop consuming and start doing. It's something that we all know we need to do. And it's so easy to get stuck in that cycle of just consuming content constantly. You see a new thing come out, you think you need to understand it, you think you need to learn it. The reality is you don't learn anything until you actually start taking action. Okay, and I'm going to get to this in the next piece as well. But once I got these first 3 customers, I learned more than I had in those 6 months because I actually learned how to talk to people and sell people. because I had 15 appointments where I didn't close anyone, but I was learning throughout those appointments on what to do and what not to do. And I got to a point where I was able to sign up 3 people and start generating $1,700 a month in a week, right? Just by taking action. Okay. So for those of you that know you need to start taking action, you're stuck in that cycle of just consuming content. Stop and just start taking action. It's that simple. Just start doing the things you know you need to do. It's okay. It's going to be scary at the start, I remember, but you know you need to do it. You just need to do it. Just start and stop consuming a bunch of crap. The second thing that happened was that first customer right here that we launched, Patrick, what ended up happening is I spent $270 on his ads and didn't generate a single lead. And again, this is the guy that I told I was going to do whatever it took to get him great results. And so this completely mortified me. I couldn't sleep at night. And so when this happened, I right away went and looked on Facebook. I was in a group called Facebook Ad Hacks, and I typed in does anybody know how to get gym owners great results running ads? I need help. And somebody tagged this guy named Rob Bailey. I went to his stuff. He had built a agency that worked with gyms, and what he did was he ran ads for them, but then he also nurtured their leads that came from the ads, and then he also did database reactivations for them. And so when I saw that he was doing that and I thought I was just going to be running ads, a light bulb went off. I can remember thinking, wow, there's other ways to get gym owners results outside of just running ads. We could take their database of leads of just canceled customers and old prospects, people that went to their website but didn't become customers, and then drive them back through the door. It's pretty standard business stuff, but a lot of businesses don't do a good job of it, or they don't do it at all. And then in addition to that, not only will we be getting them leads, but we'd be nurturing those leads for them on Facebook rather than relying on their staff or the owners to do it. And so I saw that and I was completely sold on the idea of doing it. And since I was in a situation where I wasn't getting any good results, I realized, all right, he already built a successful business doing exactly what I was trying to do and some. He's already figured it out. I was determined to work with him and get his help. And so I jumped on a call with him. He told me it was 10 grand to work with him. I literally didn't have 10 grand at the time. I was making $2,000 a month, not even. And he was able to break it up into payments because he told me, look, I can tell you're going in the right direction. I know what you need to do to change and get better results. I can help you. And I'm confident if I help you and you put the work in, you're going to be able to pay me. And so that's ultimately what did end up happening. But the important thing here is, you can either go through the trial and error of learning this on your own, or you can find someone who's already done it. It really is that simple. I tried to find someone who had already done it at the start. I just didn't do my research to recognize that he was a fraud, right? But with this, that wasn't the case at all, right? So when you're young and you haven't had the experience and wisdom you acquire in life of making bad decisions, my dad always says, wisdom comes from surviving bad judgment. That's his quote. And it's so true because I had to make a bad decision by not doing my research. But what it left me to do was to be determined to figure it out and make it work to the point where I found someone who actually could help me when I really, really needed them. Right. And so the main thing here is you just need to do your research. And if you really want to get a mentor, it can fast track everything because they've literally already done it. They know the details. They know exactly what you need to do. You just need to make sure you do your research because unfortunately, a lot of people make a lot of crazy claims nowadays. That's why I wanted to show this, is because you can't fake that. I had to send it to another company, and this is something that they do. You can't fake that, right? A lot of people, though, do. A lot of people do fake it, and it's unfortunate because a lot of young people that are just ignorant because they just don't know end up making big mistakes. So if that's you and you're watching this, just do your research. Just don't impulsively jump into something. And even if you're older and you have experience and you get emotional, right? We're all victims of it. I've experienced it. Just do your research because there's a lot of crap out there. The third piece of the story. What happened here is we kind of recognized that cold DMing businesses and doing cold email, cold outreach, that it really wasn't scalable and that we kind of needed a new strategy. And so what Rob told us to do, the guy that we hired, our mentor, was to stop going after independent businesses and start going after franchises because that's what he had done. He didn't tell us to do that because he thought it was a good idea. He did it because that's what worked for him. And so what ended up happening during about that same time is a guy posted in a Facebook group saying he needed help trying to set up the lead nurturing and reactivations for his customers, and he was working with gyms. And at the time, I was trying to do anything I could to make money, and so we jumped on with this guy and helped him do it. But what ended up happening is while we were showing him how to do it, we just kind of noticed he was very arrogant. He was younger than us. He was 20 years old. He was making about $50,000 a month working with Anytime Fitnesses, which is the largest gym chain on the planet. And I think the best way to describe it was he was very arrogant. He was talking about how he was making so much money. He basically said all of his customers came from this one guy that referred him out to a ton of different people. And he was complaining about how difficult and like unnecessary it had been to try and set up the lead nurturing side to help his customers because all he was doing was running ads. And as we were showing him how to do it, he was making comments around saying like, I don't even think it's worth me doing this. I don't even think I need to do this. And he'd even made one comment I remember, which was so funny, where he said, I signed up a gym owner or I signed up an Anytime Fitness owner while I was playing Fortnite. Like, this is so easy. And so after that call, I just realized that A, this guy's lazy and he's no smarter than me. He's definitely not hungrier than me. B, he's unwilling to implement this stuff into his business, but we've already figured it out because we were already doing it for a couple customers. And so what we did is I stayed up that entire night, Michael and I did, in my mom's basement, and we literally scraped all Anytime Fitness owners' emails. And what we ended up doing is we sent a cold email out basically saying, hey, look, we're going to be able to get your results with the reactivation campaign, and if we don't, we'll give you your money back. And what ended up happening is I ended up signing up 3 people, and one of the people that I signed up was business partners with the guy that had referred this guy. His name's Andrew. We'll say his name's Andrew. Ended up referring Andrew out to so many businesses that got him to be making over $50K a month in a couple months. And so once we worked with her, we got her really good results to the point that she told him, let's just say his name's Jay, the guy that owned 12 gyms that referred Andrew out to everyone. And then at that point, what ended up happening is we worked with all 12 of his gyms in the middle of summer. It was, I think, in July. We got him really good results in the middle of summer, which is very hard for gyms. And then what ended up happening is he literally referred us to over 200 gym owners over the course of the next like 5 to 6 months. So much so to the point that he literally had me come speak on stage in New Orleans at an event in front of like 30 gym owners. And I probably have it somewhere pretty close to here because I even have a picture of, yeah, it's right here. So that's literally me right there. That's Michael, and this is Jeff. This is the guy that referred us out to all these people, and this is the guy that had us come speak at this event. And so my point in saying that and sharing that is that we were literally able to go into a market, a franchise market, acquire over 200 customers, grow our business from $1,700 a month to over $70K a month in 6 months without doing any marketing. I literally was doing no cold calling, no cold DMing, we didn't do anything. I had so many people coming to me that we were so busy to the point that we couldn't even handle it. We were literally working with over 200 businesses. I was doing 100% of the sales calls. I was doing 100% of the client management. And I was also doing 100% of the ad creation. And then Michael literally built a team of over 12 virtual assistants in the Philippines at the time, since AI didn't exist, to handle the lead nurturing with automations because we were using Go High Level. We were one of the first 200 people to use Go High Level, which is a software that we use to get our customers results. And so the main thing here is ultimately you want to go after a network. Okay. If you're trying to grow through cold outreach and you're going after a bunch of independent business owners, they're only going to know people they directly compete with. They're not going to tell other people to work with you. If you're working with a franchise, the whole point of being in a franchise is that you're in a community, you're in a network with other people running the exact same business as you, and they talk about what's working and what's not working. That's the whole gig. That's the benefit of being in a franchise. And then in addition to that, you get a business in a box, which has been proven to work. But more important than that, there's ideas are flowing regarding what's working and what's not, and that is always a topic of discussion. So if you can get someone good results, they're going to tell other people that they know that run the same business as them where they do not compete, they're not in competing markets, to work with you. And that's exactly what happened to me, and that's what allowed me to achieve incredible growth. And another piece of this is there are tons of agencies out there, even to this day, in tons of different industries, where all they do is run ads, all they do is build websites, all they do is SEO, and they don't provide a AI system. To give you some context, what my business does is we reach out to the database of leads for businesses with AI to drive people through the door without running ads. We then reach out to their customers asking for reviews, and we do this with AI. Once people leave reviews on Google and other platforms like Yelp and Facebook, we then follow up with them asking for referrals from friends and family. And we use a raffle like, hey, if you give us a review, we'll give you a chance to win a $500 gift card. If you refer us to somebody, we'll give you a chance to win that $500 gift card 5 more times, right? So that's what we do. In addition to that, we set up an AI receptionist that can answer the phone when the staff is there and can't pick it up, and then when the staff is not there. We also have built out an AI sales coach, which records 100% of the sales consultations that the business owner or their staff take, and then it can also role play with them and give them feedback on 100% of their calls to help them get better at sales. And then we run ads and nurture the leads that come through the ads, right? So that's what we offer as a service, but there's tons of businesses and agencies out there that do well over 100K a month that don't do any of that, and they're unwilling to integrate AI into their business, which leaves the door open for a very hungry entrepreneur just like me when I got started to dominate them. Because that guy, Andrew, he's no longer in business. Like 12 months after I got into it, he was done. We literally took all of his customers because he was unwilling to change. He just didn't want to, and he didn't think it was necessary. But that's what ends up happening. That's how it works in business. That's capitalism. From here, though, what ended up happening is COVID. And so we all experienced that, but I experienced it really interestingly, where it was actually kind of a blessing. Because when COVID happened, I was so burned out on business because I had been working so hard because I had so many people coming to me and I had no idea how to handle it and what to do with it. I just wanted to ensure I didn't mess up the opportunity I had. I wanted to make sure I just wanted to make sure I fully capitalized on it and squeeze all the juice out of it, which I did. But it left me to not eat good, not exercise, not sleep well, and I just became unhealthy. If you go to my Facebook and you scroll through my testimonials, between 2019, end of 2019, you'll see I kind of look rough. And I gained some weight. I wasn't healthy. And so what that allowed me to do, once all these gyms shut down, luckily we'd saved up a lot of money. I'd never had that much money in my account, but it forced us to kind of reflect and look to see what was really working better than what we were doing for our customers. And what we noticed was that people who worked with Alex Ramosi made a lot of money, and they paid him a ton of money. And so what Alex was doing different from us is he was helping gyms get training customers rather than get members. We were helping gyms get members. And the difference between that is members pay a lot less money than training customers, right? A training customer could pay $500 to $1,000 a month. A member might pay 10 to 50 bucks a month. It's a big, big difference. And so what we decided to do is instead of charge $400 a month, we would charge $100 a month and make it be a performance model. And we partnered up with a gym owner to help teach our customers how to close the people we brought through their door. Because if you're running a performance model and your customer can't close, but you can get a lot of people through, if they're not closing, they're not going to pay it. They're going to cancel, right? And so that's what we ended up doing. And in January of 2021, we did 88K, February we did 118, and then March we did 170K. And this was after COVID. Well, not after COVID. COVID was still going on. It was still a problem, right? That COVID was very much still a problem at this point. I can remember gym owners complaining, and it was a theme. But we were able to grow in spite of that very quickly because we did that. We analyzed what was working. We created a new model. We partnered up and hired a guy that knew how to sell. And then from there, we just reached back out to our old customers and sold them a new service. And so the key takeaway here is you want to just make sure that you're prioritizing getting your customers the most valuable customer. Because if you do that in return, you can charge them a lot more money than you would be able to get otherwise. It's very, very important. The fifth piece that happened was we really just converted our business into a real business at this point. Because if you have a business that only grows through word of mouth and referrals, it's not really a real business because you're not in control of the growth. And so we realized that, and we absolutely hated the fact that that was the case because we knew at any point there could be one person that would get upset and end up messing up the great situation we had of people referring us out. And so what we ended up doing is we decided we were going to figure out how to do cold calling. And what we did is Michael built out a team of 4 cold callers to book appointments. I handled all the sales. And in 2022, I managed to sign up over 500 customers all through cold calls. Okay, and when it comes to signing people up that are coming from cold calls, it's extremely difficult because you're literally cold calling people, begging them to come work with you. It's a lot different than getting a referral, and it's a lot different from running ads because even with an ad, they're opting into it, they're coming to you. The leverage with a cold call or cold outreach makes it very, very difficult. And so I was able to figure out that whole process, which made closing anyone very, very easy. And from January 2023, we were able to do over 350K in a single month. And then we figured out how to run paid ads because we realized we know how to get referrals. We're getting people good results and people are talking about us. We know how to cold call and build that. Now let's run ads and figure that out as well, which then allowed us to build a team across the board within the business to handle front-end marketing, sales, onboarding, customer service, and then back end. And from there, we also added additional services into our business to ensure that we were getting them even better results, integrating AI more so into our business, like I said earlier, with referral follow-ups, generating reviews, website lead nurturing, and voice receptionist, and then also the AI sales coach. And so really the key takeaway here is if you're currently relying on growing your business through cold outreach, it's probably very difficult. I'm not surprised, right? It's very hard. And the reality is most people that do cold outreach end up giving up because of how difficult it is. This is kind of an interesting story. The reason why I'm making content like this and all this is because what I'm trying to do is help people build the exact same business as me in other industries so that I can build a portfolio of the exact same business in other industries and sell to a private equity company for over $100 million. That's why I'm doing this. That's what my goal is. And recently, I started helping someone with that. He's working with electricians, but he was trying to do this on his own. He had an opportunity at the new year to either stay at his job because his company got bought by another company or take a severance and quit his job. He took the severance and took a chance on building his business. He paid a guy $5,000, which was a YouTuber who claimed to make a whole bunch of money selling services to local businesses, AI services to local businesses. And he now knows he doesn't do that. After he's done some research, it paid him $5,000. But he was teaching him how to do cold outreach and he was struggling to get customers. And so I brought him on and I showed him exactly how to run ads the way we run ads for my business. And so far this week, he's had 15 appointments and he spent $160. Okay. The week's not over yet. He's had multiple calls and he feels very confident he's going to be able to get a customer. But my point in saying that is if you currently have a full-time job or you're trying to do this and you're relying on cold outreach or you're trying to make content, like organic content, talking about how you can get businesses results when you've never done it, it's a losing proposition. The easiest thing you can do for yourself, especially if you're limited on time because you have a job or you have a family, is to figure out how to run paid ads. Because when you're running paid ads, you have people coming to you versus you going to them. With cold calling, it takes a lot of time. It takes all your effort. With paid ads, it takes money. And if you're really good at it, it doesn't take a lot of money. He's getting $2.15 leads, which is nuts. The reason why is because we know what works, because we do it for my agency and we're just doing it for his, right? But again, the key takeaway here is you need to build real systems in the business to acquire customers, because this is the number one place where people fail is they're not able to get to that point. Luckily for me, I got a mentor early on who had already done exactly what I was trying to do, and I built the flywheel effect of referrals and word of mouth. But I then had to figure out cold calling and paid ads. So if you don't have that down and you're just relying on cold outreach, try and figure out paid ads or go after a franchise because it will make it so much easier and it will give you that space to start making money and actually build a real business, where if you're just relying on cold calling, it's so difficult. And then the final piece to this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, but we just started layering AI on top of our service to make it be a lot more effective than it was before. And so like I said, what we did from there is we were coaching our customers on how to sell, but then we built an AI sales coach that could record 100% of their calls and now give them feedback on exactly what they're doing wrong. And then we can pinpoint where they need to focus on that they keep messing up on. And then the AI can even role play with them those parts. And then my team can still help them, but it takes so much work off their plate. And the cool thing about this is that you don't have to be you don't have to know anything about the industry to be able to build this. You just have to have one customer who's great at sales, and they can help you build it. And then in exchange for that, you can just run their ads or run this offer for them for free for a month. It's literally that simple. We added the voice AI receptionist to answer 100% of the calls whenever the staff wasn't there or whenever the staff couldn't answer. And then we also, kind of like I said earlier, automated the coaching, but then also made it so that we could get them reviews from their customers and also get referrals from their customers, and then continue the same system that we had originally. And so again, AI doesn't really replace a great service, it amplifies it. And that's the whole point of this, is that there are tons of agencies out there, just like Andrew's agency, where they're unwilling to integrate AI and allow it to amplify their service, which leaves a big opportunity for a ton of entrepreneurs that are seriously hungry and trying to figure this out and break into those industries, just like I did when I first got into this. And so if that's something you're interested in doing, like I said, my goal is to help other people build the exact same business I built in other industries. I've already helped a ton of people do it. And so the reason I want to do that is so I can make a highly profitable portfolio that I can sell for over $100 million to make a lot more money than I would make on my own. If that's something you're interested in, feel free to check out the link below. You can apply to work with me. It would be you and I speaking directly to see if you'd be a good fit, because you'd be working directly with me and my agency. We'll go from there. I hope this video helped. I hope it gives you some inspiration and some insights into what it really takes to build a business like this. I made over $25 million without a personal brand, doing it the old school way, the dirty way. And that's what I'm great at. That's what I figured out. And I hope that you implement some of this stuff that I taught you in this video, because it's what works. It's the real stuff. It's what helped me get to where I'm at right now. I was so close to quitting and giving up because of how difficult it really was at the start. Doing the cold outreach, consuming so much YouTube content, just being overwhelmed and going like, what the fuck am I even supposed to focus on, right? Not making any progress, being broke. I know what it's like. I can remember. It was a long time ago, but I know what it was like. I hope this really helps you to start making better decisions and start making progress. I'll see you in the next one.